Hi focus friends, habits are an ADDer's best friend. In my coaching work, I've seen two critical mistakes that derail most habit attempts. In this video, I'll share what those are, what you can do to overcome them, and there's pictures. The reason you should be obsessed with habit building as an ADDer is because habits don't require motivation once they're in place. And we ADDers suck at getting motivated, so win-win. To explain the two most common habit mistakes that I see, allow me to introduce you to my analogy, the habit hill. Imagine you want to sled down a hill. First, you have to drag your sled up, which isn't a problem because you're super excited to go sledding until you hit the second half of the hill, and that's when it becomes a slog. However, you press on because you know that once you get to the top of the hill, you can coast easily on down. Habits work the same way, except that you only have to climb the hill once and you get to slide down unlimited times. Mind blown. Which brings us to mistake number one. When most people get halfway up the hill and then they start having to slog through it, they think the hill is much taller than it actually is. The reasons are that one, they don't know to expect that the second half of their hill is going to always be hard. And two, they're not thinking straight when they're in this tired, slogging mood. They're like, oh, it's gonna take forever, when the top of the hill really isn't that far off. So what's the solution? The solution is really just to understand how the habit hill works. Know that the second half of your habit building hill is going to be a slog. So how do you get motivated to grit through it? Two ways. First, realize that you only need to get to the top of this hill once, and then for the rest of your life, gravity is working in your favor. It actually becomes hard not to do the habit. And the second solution brings us into mistake number two. Climb shorter hills one after another, rather than trying to do one super large hill all at once. So the second mistake that I see all the time is that people try to climb too high of a habit hill. As you can see in the graphic here, what happens is that the area that you need to slog through and grit through just goes from here to huge. So the solution is to climb smaller habit hills and then chain them together to go to great heights. As you can see in this graphic, we take three manageable habit hills and we put them one after another, which lets us achieve a huge distance climbed, but still in a way that we know we can succeed. So here's an example of how this would work with exercise. Let's say you're a couch potato now, you do no exercise, and you would really love to be someone who works out 4 days a week for half an hour. So to apply this habit hill approach, you might start with 4 days a week. All you do is put on your gym clothes and maybe do a 5-minute walk, and that's it. You could even go lower if that's too aggressive. Once you notice that that starts to get a little bit automatic or easier, what they call in the research literature automaticity, you could then up it to 10-minute walks. Let's say stage 1 took you 3 weeks, stage 2 might take you 2 to 3 weeks. Now you've got this pretty well-established habit of 4 days a week, you get up and you're moving for 10 minutes. Now all of a sudden, this is your new baseline. From there, it's not too big of a hill to climb to go from 4 days a week of 10 minutes to say 4 days a week of a 20-minute walk. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, you could bump it up to 30 minutes, at which point you're at least walking for 30 minutes. And you could do the same if you wanted to ramp up the intensity of your workouts by starting to incorporate 5 minutes of high intensity in your 30-minute walks, 10 minutes of high intensity, and so on. And so you're gradually moving up your baseline and you're covering a great height over time, but in a way that's manageable. Because once you reset your baseline, it's yours for life. So that's it for today's video. If you like the habit hill or see some ways that you could apply this analogy to your habits, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, we're trying to build a community, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.